Hey, I'm just gonna make sure everything's okay. Looks like everything's streaming. Chat's up. Okay, so hey everybody. Um, welcome. My name is author of the Superhero's Son, Capes Online, and which sidekick is. And tonight we're doing my monthly reading, where I do a reading of one of my from one of my books. So. Uh, you know, so it's tonight doing a live reading of uh, my newest book, VR Hero Number One Reset, which is a superhero RPG series. The first book is a new superhero RPG series called VR Hero, which is launching Friday, April 2nd. You can pre-order that on Amazon for 99 cents if you want, or just wait or just wait until it comes out. Whether you've already pre-ordered it or if you are trying to decide if you are pre-ordered or not, you'll hopefully you'll find this live stream interesting and hopefully it'll pique your interest because tonight I'm gonna read the first chapter. So before I start reading, I want to talk about the book itself for a little bit. So VR Hero Number One Reset um, is this, like I said, superhero RPG adventure, as the subtitle says. It's the second series of my Capes Online, I guess, sort of superhero RPG universe. The original Capes Online series came out in 2019. It has 7 books in it. Uh, but after that series came out, I took a break from it and and wrote other types of superhero books. But starting with Reset, I'm back in Capes Online. But I always intended to come back to Capes universe, because the Capes Online universe is basically, if you're familiar with the RPG game, it's basically a hyper realistic virtual reality superhero game. You can be a hero or a villain. You have your own sidekick and costumes and complements your identity and all that. Anyways, VR Hero takes place in the Capes Online universe. Takes place after the final Capes Online book. It follows uh, the of Joseph Maxwell, otherwise known in game as Busker Byrne, who is the younger brother of the protagonist from the previous Capes Line series, Winter. Now you can see Busker here on the title page for the book, which is a black and white version of the cover. Uh, which my cover designer threw in for free, which I thought was really nice. So I think looks good. So Busker's he's a streamer. Not and he does he's a Capes Online streamer and also a successful musician. And this series deals with follows his adventures in the wake of the last Capes Online book, which saw a lot of big changes come to the game because of the actions of his brother. And now Busker is so in this book in this series, Busker ends up his level progression and all the stats and stuff ends up back at level 1. That's the plot. As we're going to read in the first chapter here, we're going to see exactly how Busker ends up losing his powers and gets reset back to level 1. So let me scroll down. Okay, so let's start with uh, chapter 1. So you can read what. Hopefully, I zoomed in. I can zoom in a little bit more. I think maybe a little bit clearer. So, okay. Chapter 1. The second that Joseph Maxwell, better known in game as Busker Byrne, stepped off the bus to Fartown, he knew something was wrong. The small town of Fartown, his original starting area in game, looked about the same as usual. A small, fairly rural town with a single red stoplight and a grocery store that was currently closed, and a post office not too far from the bus stop. The hot sun overhead shone as brightly as ever, the heat reminding him of Texas, although as a fire type, Busker actually enjoyed the heat. The scent of freshly mowed grass near the post office entered his nostrils, causing him to breathe it in deeply. If I didn't know Capes Online was just a game, I would have thought this was real life, Busker thought. He glanced at his body, however, and frowned. Although when we think about it, this basically is real life for me now. Now that I no longer have a physical body, it still feels weird. Even so, Wesker thought something seemed off about Fartown. He didn't see any NPCs or players on the streets like he usually did. Granted, Fartown had a much lower population than, say, Adventure City, for example. You can still usually catch on to a good number of newbies spawning here or walking the streets of Fartown seeking out their tutorial NPCs, whose job was to introduce and explain the game world mechanics to players. Yet the streets were empty, making Fartown look like a ghost town. Then again, I can't imagine the Blackout Wars particularly helped Capes Online's player base, Buster thought, figuring one of the buttons on his jeans. As much as I love this game, I'd probably log out forever too, if I could. The bus right here is pretty empty as well. A soft sneeze behind him made Buster look over his shoulder. The hood's spirit carrying a scythe hovered behind him, wiping her nose with one hand while clutching her weapon in one hand. Large hover vehicle barely spectre. All this shouting grass is making my allergies bad again. Busker chuckled. Although Spiritus might look like the Grim Reaper, she's actually his loyal and faithful psychic with the anti-hero alignment just like him. Yeah, but how else am I supposed to move all my stuff from my base? You do realize that the Winter League is several thousand members, right? Said Spiritus. I imagine that most of them would be more than happy to help the famous Busker Bird move to Adventure City. Busker chuckled again. Most of the leaders have logged off, and I'm not sure when they'll log back on. You know me, I just can't wait. Niall can tell you all about that. Spiritus sighed. If you insist, I suppose we could make this quick. Agreed, Busker said with a nod. He turned around again and lifted one foot off the ground. Although we've got all the time in the world, we've also got no time to lose. Let's go. Busker took one step forward, and an energy cage exploded into existence around him with a deafening bang. Startled, Busker took a step back and looked around at himself. It was approximately 8 by 8 feet and carried a deadly pink color that made Busker feel unsafe. Busker, said Spiritus in surprise, holding a hand toward him. Are you alright? Do you need help? Nah, Spiritus, said Busker. He grinned. I think I can get out of this on my own. Busker pulled his fire guitar off his back and strummed the strings a couple of times. Considered which power he wanted to use to free himself. As a level 80 anti-hero, Busker had a wide variety of powers and skills at his command he had developed over the years. He considered using one of his ultimate powers, but decided that would be too wasteful. A simple kaboom! Housing his hand, Busker was just about to start rocking out when beams of energy lanced out from the bar and struck his back and chest. A sudden weakness fell over Busker, causing him to drop his Phoenix axe into the ground and collapse to his hands and knees. It felt like all the strength had been sapped from his bones, which was confirmed a second later when a notification popped up in his view. Weakening. Minus 90% strength, stamina, and agility. Duration unknown. Duration unknown? Wait, duration unknown, Busker said, his voice saying weak into his ears. What the hell? She reached out toward the cage with one hand. I can phase through the bars, and Spiritus was interrupted when she touched the bars and screamed in pain. Flashing pink energy flowed from the bars into Spiritus' body. Her robes began to smoke as her body's temperature shot up. She finally wrenched her hand free from the bars, only to immediately collapse into the ground, her body not even twitching, her scythe now sitting by her side. Another notification appeared in Busker's vision. Spiritus is unconscious. It was a relief that Spiritus hadn't died, but he noticed that her health had dropped to sub 10%. That was impressive, given how she was a level 40 psychic and had a ridiculously high amount of health already. It made him wonder exactly what this cage was made out of. In all his years playing Capes Online, Busker had never seen anything like this before. But then another pulse went through Busker, causing him to grow the spike of pain. He sometimes wished that Capes Online wasn't so realistic, especially when it came to pain. But again, that's probably his own fault for choosing the real pain option when he first started playing a long time ago. It might have meant he maximized his XP gains, but also meant that he felt pain more acutely than other players. He told himself. Niall will give up if he's in this situation, he's way lower level than you. Taking a deep breath, Busker tried to stand. He got about halfway up before another spasm of pain hit him and he fell back down to his hands and knees. His body felt like every nerve being twisted at once. Easily some of the worst pain he'd felt in his life. You wouldn't be getting up that easily off, right, Busker? said a familiar British voice before him. Miss Poprox made sure that the highest quality energy cage credits combined your levels rated as helpless as a newborn babe was captured within the energy cage. Gasping for breath, Busker looked up, although even that simple motion sent spasms of pain through his neck and body. Through a gap in the bars of his cage, Busker saw a pale-faced British man with long, dirty dreads, a ripped t-shirt with the name of the famous punk band Dead Rats on his chest, and a knife holstered at his side. Hovering sidekick Mania, although Busker would have identified him even with that stand tag. Mania, said Busker. What what are you doing here? And where's Pop Rocks? You mentioned her. Questions, questions, Mania observed. Miss Pop Rocks is right. You ask way too many. Mania snapped his fingers. The energy cage pulsed again, and Busker screamed as the pain worsened. He managed to keep his head up, however, staring at Mania in confused disbelief. I don't understand, said Busker. Why, what is this? A trap, said Mania, although one that we wouldn't have been able to set ourselves if not for resources and information that you were coming back to Farton. Busker's eyes widened. Who told you that? No one other than my brother knows where I am. Mania chuckled. That's our, and by our, I mean Miss Poprox's secret. You, on the other hand, have far more important things to worry about, such as your life and more pain. At this point, Busker was barely able to remain conscious. Despite his full energy bar, Busker didn't be able to use any of his powers, even if he had been imprisoned in the energy cage. Even so, Busker just smirked. My life, huh? You do realize if you kill me, I'll just respawn my base, right? I mean, that'd mean losing half my money and all my current experience, but that's where I was going anyway. And I ain't afraid to grind. Mania pursed his lips. I should be more precise in your base. I mean termination. Fear spiked through Busker's heart when Mania said that. Termination was a term where players didn't kill in real life as well as in game. Although supposedly impossible, Busker had seen it happen too much over the past 12 months to dismiss it as something conducted by overly zealous conspiracy theorists. That was why Busker felt cold despite his fire type. You wouldn't. But I would, said Mania. That is why Miss Poprock sent me. She is taking advantage of the current climate and keeps online to take out a particular threat to her streaming career. Buster gulped. He knew who Miss Poprox was. Like him, she was a famous Capes Online streamer, well known for her adult streams and attire. She was also a spoiled brat and hyper competitive to a fault, seeing Busker as her top rival. It had been a while since Busker last heard her name or even thought about her. That's why he recognized Mania, who was Poprox's sidekick. This is too far even for her, said Busker. I'm not just an NPC, I'm a person. Terminating me is basically murder. If the government finds out of this, but they won't, Mania replied. He gestured at the empty streets of Fartham. Since the end of the Blackout War, most of the heroes and villains of Fartham have logged off permanently. Most of the civilians have shut their doors too, for fear of the glitchlings and rogue players who enter the war. There's no one to witness what I'm about to do to you, as I plan to delete your sidekick too. Busker took in a deep breath, fighting against the unconsciousness threatening to knock him out. But what if the AI is recording this? Why do you think Poprox sent me to terminate you, rather than come herself? Plausible deniability. I already have a reputation for being a rogue NPC, as heroes sometimes call us. If anyone finds out that I terminated you, well, Poprox can always pretend that I got glitched. Given how many people believe Capes Online be glitched already, I'm sure most people would be willing to believe that. Terror filled Busker like nothing else. His mind was flashing back to the time when he got deleted and ended up in the junkyard. Only termination is even worse than deletion. At least with deletion, there's a chance of your data being restored. Assuming you avoid getting recycled in the junkyard, though, there's no respawning or restoring from that. Busker immediately pulled up the League chat and attempted to send a message to his brother, only to this error message. Capes Online messaging system is currently down for maintenance. Please try again later. Try to send a message for help, Mania said. He laughed. It won't work. Even if the messaging system hadn't been down, the energy cage already blocks all messages into and out of the cage. So you can't call on the help of your brother Winter or any of the other members of your pathetic league. Doing his best to remain calm, Busker said, I think you're bluffing. Terminating your player isn't as easy as deletion. You need special equipment to do it. It's just this, said Mania. He pulled out a shiny silver disc from his pocket. It's about the size of one of Dad's old-fashioned CD, he etched into the surface. Mania flipped the disc around for Busker to see. But Busker wasn't quite sure what he was looking at. "What is that?" said Busker. Mania waved the disc. "This? A new pop rocks and meat off to your right, Roxanne. It's an experimental termination disc, which, applied to the skin of a player, terminates the player, especially if the player in question does not have a physical body outside of the game world." Buster gulped. That reminded Buster of the Terminator's sword that belonged to Atmosphere, his brother's archenemy. Only Atmosphere's weapon had been given to him by a living glitch, so Buster had no idea where Mania had gotten his from. Was there someone else in Capes Online developing weapons that could terminate players? If so, who and why? Not that Busker had much time to ponder those questions, though. Mania stepped forward and, with a wave of his hand, caused the front bars of the cage to disappear, allowing Mania to enter the cage with Busker. Busker normally would have taken advantage of that moment to escape, but he was still too weak. Mania grabbed his chin and forced his head up, forcing Buster to look directly into Mania's manic eyes. Holding the sword disc in his right hand, Mania said, in a dangerously soft voice, "Because what I have to do next will hurt like the dickens." With that, Mania slammed the disc against Busker's forehead, and Busker screamed as his body was destroyed. And that's the end of chapter 1. I hope you found that interesting. As you can tell, it ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger. Which I hope, does Busker survive? Does he die? Well, I mean, obviously, a spoiler alert, he does survive, but you can read the next chapter. Uh, you can either read the next chapter by pre-ordering the book, like I said, for 99 cents on Amazon. Just scroll down until the description below. You'll find a link to where you can pre-order the book, so you'll get it when it goes live tomorrow. Or if you really can't wait, you can go to my website and read the first 5 chapters of the book absolutely for free. So if you want to find out what happens in chapter 2, 3, 4, and 5, you can just go to my website and continue reading there. Anyways, so when I wrote this, book, it was I always intended to write a series about Buster Byrne. Like even when I wrote, even after I did the first Capes Online series, um, I'd always want to write about him because he's a fun character to write. Like he's energetic, he's fun, he's outgoing, confident, but he's also very impulsive and reckless, maybe a little immature too. He's really a lot less mature than his older brother Winter. So, um, and another RPG story about a player who ends up starts from the top, falls to the bottom. I believe there's actually a series. I can't remember its name. It's the Reset. No, it's the Restart Chronicle or something like that. I can't remember. It's a good series, but this is my take on that the RPG trope about a player who ends up getting reset or has to start over again. Um, and yeah, so as you can tell, there's um, lots of interest and intrigue already, and um, yeah, Busker's he's a fun character to write, and the whole series I think was fun. But you can decide for yourself whether it's interesting or good. Um, when the book comes out tomorrow. So I'm looking at chat, and I do not see any comments from anyone to take. That's fine. I know a lot of people will probably end up watching the recording later, which is perfectly fine because I know I have a lot of international fans who are all just everywhere. So it can be hard to do something like this, because of this live. You make it to these live streams. Um, but anyways, yeah. So that's VR Hero #1 Reset. I hope you enjoyed the live reading. In terms of future readings, um, well, I'll be doing another one in May. Uh, Probably May 1st. I'm thinking. Um, my next book will actually be coming out in June. So we'll be looking at my older books, doing a reading from my older books this time. Will be since uh, I'll be reading the first chapter of the Superhero Sun #1, The Superhero's Test, my first ever superhero book, because as of next month, uh, the Superhero's Test will have been out for 5 years. So, I'll be doing a special live reading of the first chapter of the Superhero's Test, and I'll um, discuss the book itself a little bit, and um, give you some. It'll probably be Saturday, May 1st, probably around the same time as this live stream. Um, so I'll put that up probably tomorrow. I'll get the schedule probably either tomorrow or sometime this weekend. We'll see. Um, but in the meantime, on my Discord, I'll be I'll be doing a video of the answering some of the questions for my April anime. So if, it'll be it will not be a live stream. It'll be a pre-recorded video where I'll pick out questions from my Discord and answer them on a video. The video probably won't be very long. I imagine it won't be longer than 20, 25 minutes, maybe half an hour at most. But it's all dependent on the questions again. So if there are any questions you want to hear me, want to hear see me, just go to my Discord. There's a link to my Discord in the description, the YouTube video for this live stream below, and just look for the AMA April AMA channel and post whatever your questions are, and I'll probably get to them. So yeah. So again, thanks to everyone who showed up to watch and listen, and I appreciate you taking time out of your evening to do, or your morning, or whatever time you're watching this, to just take time out of your day to watch this. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I also hope you will enjoy VR Hero #1 Reset when it comes out tomorrow. Um, and hopefully you'll enjoy the rest of the book, and maybe leave a nice review for Amazon if you like it, or whatever. And so, yeah, in any case, that's all for tonight. See you all in the next, my April AMA video sometime next week. And then then May 1st, we'll be looking at doing live reading the first chapter of the Superheroes Test. So that'll be fun too. In any case,